JB here. Hope everyone's doing outstanding. Thursday, April 17th, 318. It's fine afternoon. Talk really quick about the market. Some names I'm looking at go from there. S&P's up about 0.3%. A bumpy, well, I would call it a bumpy session, but looked like markets were going to set up for a red session. We reversed the morning right about 10:30, hit 524 in a SPY. And then we've been bouncing around up to highs at about 1 o'clock, and then finding some pressure here in the late afternoon. Uh, VIX is down 6%, but still over 30. And it's like a 1.1% trading range. So uh, nothing, no new headlines, right? So reports out that U.S. and Japan are close to a deal. POTUS is speaking to Italy's prime minister. And then there's just comments, and all these lines of comments come down. I made a joke on FinTwit. It's like there's like it's the fastest draw in the West, like the Westerns, right? You had the quickest draw in the West. Right now, it's like whoever copies and pastes the headlines. That's what Walter Bloomberg just copies and pastes the Bloomberg terminal. But it's just a whole slew of headlines. And the most recent, now Wall Street Journal just came out with a report about 2:45 earlier that POTUS has been in discussions to fire Powell and has discussed his successor already. He came out with that tweet on Truth Social this morning saying that Powell's doing a horrible job. Here's the thing, right? So, the market's all about confidence, right? That's what it is, right? Confidence that in a company, confidence in its financials, its fundamentals, that what they're saying is accurate, that the market makers are being truthful, that the bid and ask that you see on the screen is truthful and confidence, right? It's a confidence thing. And then if you start removing some of the confidence, then like those are big issues. More than just growth, and to me, right? So it's like you're ruining the foundations of it. And to me, when I see a headline like that, and I'm hoping it's just more posturing, and he's trying to get Powell to cut rates. I like I said in the watches this morning, I actually respect the fact that Powell's kind of holding his ground, because you need someone. There's got to be checks and balances, right? You can't have it too far on one side or too far on the other. There's got to be. It's just how it works, right? And if you remove the balances and there's no checks and balances, even if the decision to cut rates is right and Powell's not doing it, just removing him because you disagree with him is just going to cause this. It's just not good for the markets, right? It's not good for confidence. It's not, to me, it's not bullish, right? And of course, over time, you want to see the market head higher. That event would be worse than tariffs. We would be down 7 to 10% one day, in my opinion. We'd be a limit down if over the weekend they announced that Powell's being removed or something. It just would not be a good thing. So hopefully we don't have to cross that bridge. That bridge will not be crossed. His term is up in a year anyway. Just let it run its course and do the due process. All right, end of that rant. So in the SPY down to 524, all the way up to 531 as a high. So I thought 534. That didn't happen. That was resistance. The ironic part is yesterday I thought 524 would be support, and that's where we found support here today. So just a choppy session. And again, we need some headlines either this weekend or next week, because otherwise I just feel it's just going to be a melt. And then the selling is going to pick up pace. So we get Netflix earnings after the close here today. Next week, you have Tesla, we have Google. There was news on Google, FTC. Google, it seems like always Google's on the limelight in front and center when it comes to antitrust probes. It seems like every couple of years there's a new one. So that came out. For me, Google, it's always been a situation where they're concerned that maybe their search platform dominance is eroding, right? And now you take a look, and when AI first came out, you look at it and you're like, wait, AI is pretty much a supersized Google, right? It's Google search, but with more color to it, right? It gives you details instead of having to do the Google search and then actually click the website and read what it says. Now AI does that for you, right? And it does it much quicker, So instead of typing, give me the best meat recipe, hamburger recipes, you type that in Google and it'll actually give you the best hamburger recipe. So that's kind of the events here. Now, next week, I guess, just gonna be earnings. The Fed meeting is in 2.5 weeks now, so it was 3 weeks from yesterday. So 2 weeks, 6 days. That'll obviously be a big event now that there's more spotlight on the Fed. But oh man, I just hope we don't cross that bridge. All right, so that's overall markets. I always look at the good things. I would love to see the VIX close under 30. It was under 30 just a little while ago to that Wall Street Journal article came out. Uh, Hopefully we start to melt back down. Um, and yeah, that's it. All right, so now individual names. I'm still looking to get some GameStop calls. It was actually up over $27. It's actually the volatility on name just is it's not moving too much, so it doesn't make sense for me to rush to add anything. But it's funny, I'm looking at the June strikes and I'm like, the 50s. And then you go look, and so the 50s they're up like 3%. So not worthwhile to try and chase. But you go all the way up, and I was watching like 125s have the 125 June strikes. There was like 1,800 contracts traded, and it's 33 by 38 cents. Like it's so you go down, and the 50 strikes are 95 by 99. So like someone's paying is like almost like some crazy catalyst, right? Or crazy squeeze or crazy run. I don't know. I'm just trying to wrap my head around it. I mean, it's a good thing, right? If you get to 50 strikes now at 90 cents, it goes up to 125. Obviously, makes some serious coin. But I'll wait until next week. No sense in rushing 3-day weekend. So I'll just continue to hold my May freebies. Uh, and United Healthcare. So if you trade options long enough, there's trades like this that happen every so often that you can make up for months and years of futility. And it's funny, United Healthcare, you take a look at its run since the end of February from 440 all the way up to $600, right? There was the Medicare payments, the CMS system. I guess they were getting better payments. I forget exactly why it gapped and ran last week. Uh, and then you look and I'm like, wow, the 520. I was looking this morning after they report earnings, the stock is tanking. I'm like, the 525s were 25 by 45, 25 cents by 45 cents. So let's say you bought 10 contracts and you probably could have got filled at 35 cents. That's $350. And then you look today, those are $75, right? So $350 yesterday afternoon into $75,000 today. Let's say you got 20 contracts and you're talking, 700 into 150,000. Just crazy, crazy things that, what, if you do that once out of 100 times you trade, you know, not too bad. So disappointing I missed that. But what I think it did, it caused there was like a ripple effect with the rest of the Dow stocks, right? So if you don't know, I mean, that's why I don't look at the Dows, because the weighting, and United Healthcare was the number one rated stock on the Dow because of its price, right? Which, I mean, how does that make sense in any kind of index that you show on the news every day, that it's weighted by the stock price? It has nothing to do with the market capitalization or anything like that. Just mind-boggling. But that's how it's always been. That's how they keep it. So, back before Apple split and stuff, it was different weighting. Sherman Williams, right? Sherman Williams is one of the top weighted stocks on the Dow now, which again, crazy. Paint, right? Paint determines how the Dow does. So just funny enough, but needless to say, so you took a look at a lot of the names on the Dow today, the Caterpillars, the Boeings, Johnson & Johnson, the 3Ms. A lot of names were green today, even when the market was shown under pressure. So it's almost like United Healthcare pulled down, it was responsible like 600 or 700 points on the Dow, and then some of that money went to some of the other names. I don't know if that's why Johnson & Johnson ran so much today, but all right, so let me get on to Johnson & Johnson. That's a little rant on United Healthcare, crazy stuff. So yeah, Johnson & Johnson. So I got those. I had on the watch list the last 2 days after its earnings. I thought it was an opportunity for it to outperform, even if there's no trade deal in place. I mean, hopefully soon there will, but if no trade deal, I think it can still somewhat outperform. Didn't do so much yesterday, although it closed green. And then boom, today, right at the open, started to spike. That's 156, 157. I didn't want to be in a spot where we have the market tumble, so I took some off to cover costs for 100%. Then it just kept going. And, so that I was looking at 50-day moving average. I was going to be happy with the move and the close over that 154. Actually, it's the 200, 154.91. And it did that. And then it just kept going. And I thought 200-day moving average, the 50, excuse me, at 159 was a target for next week, and it hit that just before at about 2 o'clock. So, again, similar. I don't want to be in a spot. I mean, it's a long 3-day week, and who knows what can happen. But at the same token, I had to take some profits. So, I closed some more out for a little bit for like 250%, and then just a little while ago for after the noon hour for close to 400%. And I just have a couple left, and I'll just hold those. Uh, you know, can it get to 162, 163? Certainly, especially if it closes over that 50-day moving average. Maybe I have to do that next week. But thankful to have that trade here at the end of the week on a good note. And then I was looking for some spec lotto trades, so MicroStrategy is a name I've been watching. I was actually looking to get Coinbase today. I haven't traded coin in a very long time. That looked like it was a breakout by the noon hour. It was like 177. SPY was right near 530. Uh, and then I just went with RH again. And the disappointing thing is the spreads are so wide on the calls. I was able to get in. I got them in at 30 cents, and then the spread was so wide as it moved up, and it was 158 and 159, and it got into the 160s, 161s, and the spreads are still wide. And I know if I sell and I post myself, it's just going to get bid whacked. So I held on, got back over 161, hit highs. I got some out for a double. I held the rest here into the afternoon. It's 32 minutes to the close, so got to be careful. If you still have some of the 162.50s, obviously you don't want to close those into money, so maybe put a market order up or what have you. But unfortunately, that news out from about Fed Chair Powell probably, I don't know if the stock's going to rally into the end of the day, but probably put the end for that one. But that's kind of the thought process at adding those calls. Uh, and and then also in the morning, I had on the watch list GPCR. So wouldn't be surprised, especially over the weekend. There'll be more headlines. Number one with Pfizer, right? That Pfizer news dropping their weight loss study. Then you have that news this morning with LLY coming out with their phase 3 oral diabetes / GLP-1 drug with positive data, which has the same molecule as GPCR. So I'm sure there'll be more chatter over the weekend, and to me, it just creates just a even more opportunity for M&A that wasn't there in the past, right? You remove the competitor, and now you have uh, Eli Lilly even closer to an oral solution, right? So I think that just expedites some of these mega cap bio names, their urgency in getting some assets in the GLP-1 space. So GPCR, VKTX. So that's why I got those strikes out. They were up almost nearly 100%, and then they've come back down. In my head, I was thinking, do I average? Do I go further out? I'll just wait till next week. The thing is only monthly, so I have plenty of time. They weren't down too much. Actually, it's still not down too much. But the other thing is the premiums are expensive if you start going into Junes and then the spreads are wide, you go into July. The Junes only have strikes up to 25. Then you go to July, have up to 55. But so I'll just probably sit on my hands for now and just hold what I have. That was kind of the thought process there. And then other names, First Solar today, was hitting lows at 11 o'clock. I was almost looking to get some calls at the open. I was like, oh, good thing I passed. And then it's done nothing but melt to the upside since that 11 o'clock lows that was hit. Definitely a name I'll be watching next week. But again, who knows what's going to happen over the weekends, right? So I hope good stuff, but I don't want to be loaded on either side just because it doesn't make sense. I'd rather be able to react at the start of the week instead of having to, worry about the futures or any kind of news event or gosh, if, Fed Chair Powell gets terminated over the weekend or, he definitely can't be terminated, but it just would not be a good thing. Anyway, that's it, folks. Let's have a great day. I'll be back on audio later. Rock and roll.